So good morning, everyone, and welcome to our monthly board meeting. We'll begin with a land acknowledgement. It was wonderful to see the weather turning just a touch. But you know, we are so aware of some of the ecological disasters around the world right now, and I'm thinking particular of the fires in California and how fire can be such a rejuvenating thing for many forests. And I think of the wonderful, incredible things of that the Indigenous people have taught us about foraging and understanding that there are cycles to these things. And I think of the most people are foodies. Morels only come out of a burnt forest, and they're a spectacular mushroom that you only get at that one particular time. But in the meantime, you know, with global warming, we are experiencing horrific disasters that are on an age that nature, on a magnitude that nature can't quite cope with. And I think of the Indigenous people of this land, the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Adirondack peoples, and the Mississaugas of the Credit, and how they teach us to live in harmony with nature, and to always recognize that we do not have dominion over, but we have merely stewardship with. And if we can remember some of that, then maybe we can ease some of the burden on this planet. And next, I will ask for any declarations of interest. Hearing none, I will ask if I could have a motion to invite Jake Mach from the governance committee to partake in our board meeting today. Thank you, David. Seconder. Josh, and you all in favor? Any of contrary minded? Welcome, Jake. Great to have you here. Excellent. Can I have an approval of the agenda? A motion to approve the agenda. Josh, seconded by David. Thank you so much. We'll just go back and forth with the two of you. You're so magnificent. All in favor? Any contrary minded? And now we will move into our training session. And I turn it over to Rachel.
Good morning. And sorry, before we do that, could we just go in camera for the training session?
Please, if I could have a motion to move it in camera so that we can do our training session. Can I have somebody move it? David, and seconded by Amy. And away we go.
Having the motion. Governance update, please.
Great, and I apologize, but I am on a bit of a tight time schedule. It's so much easier when we're in the same place where my ovens are, but we're not right now. For the governance update, our code of conduct is under review, and we're really going through it line by line, which is really helpful. And I think this will help us. And I mean, part of the reason that we had this additional training was in response to a citation from the clerk of the city clerk, right? That we were edging into violation territory. So that was a good warning to do a refresher. We do have some that are on the tape, so that'll come back to us as a full board when we've gotten through it. We do have a couple of updates. One is the code of conduct for non-board members. So this is folks that are not members of the board but have joined a committee, and it just outlines some very clear ones. And so I'm going to assume that you've all had a chance to look at that. Also with the procurement policy, we made a few changes in there just to update it. It hadn't been updated in a while. And then the rainbow registry policy, which is a policy that we would like to adopt to move toward becoming a rainbow registered BIA. So those are all there for you in the docket. Do you have any questions that are specific to any of those before we make the motion to approve the policies as presented?
Your policy, like, finished. I thought we were still going to do that.
No, that one got finished.
And with the rainbow registered, there was only like one business in Niagara that actually had it.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's right, which we thought was quite wild and wonderful. Gail's gas bar, just to let you know.
You just wanted to disclose, just the rainbow registered policy will not be a click your fingers done. It is a working document, very much so, and it will need to be submitted to the overseeing body for that. And just in transparency, there are costs too. So I believe the first year is $2.99 to have it reviewed and gone through, and then $2.50 per year after. And it's a 3-year policy in place, and then you need to reapply.
I don't put that up as scary.
It basically lays out our beliefs and or our intentions in terms of being inclusive in for events or activities downtown or marketing downtown. It does not infringe on individual businesses. We do not have that power and we never want to have that power. This is more, there are BIAs across the province that have taken this step and some municipalities, especially in the marketing and tourism departments. But then they put, for example, when we have our downtown village poster or an event poster, we can put a symbol or an image on it that indicates this is an event.
And you can't do that now. You
No.
have to be registered in order to put that, so stores that have that, or churches or anything that have that are registered under this.
No,
Specific
organization, yeah. So like, it wouldn't be like we are LGBTQ plus friendly, it would be like they're probably a specific emblem or something that we could put on there, which might be recognized by more widely across the province.
If we were to subscribe to these values anyway, what's the benefit to the organization if we apply for it with dollars? I mean, versus just doing
I think it's
authenticity versus.
sure, and I feel like that's an option, but I makes me wanna beat the old saying of putting money where your mouth is, so to speak. Show taking action, not just words.
And I was, but I would say there's probably a marketing aspect to it, where like they'll come up on the registry and it's probably a trusted source of information as opposed to someone just putting a rainbow on there.
And that's absolutely
Just
key.
like the generalization of the BIA though. Like the BIA represents downtown, but we can't represent every store, so they may not feel it, and I also know that there are. Places that put that sticker on there that is not what they believe, it is just for a walk-in.
And that's what the distinction with this would be, is that we are actually like, so, and I don't know, I'm so speaking out of turn here, but like our events as a BIA as opposed to our members as a BIA. So our activities are,
I just think that there's so much stuff in like legislation right now, like Bill C-16, or I just don't know that this is like a BIA situation. So I would like more information on this with the governance before I put any motion purchase.
To the back.
We'll be able to approve maybe the first two.
That's what I'm just gonna, I'd like to amend the motion to approve the code of conduct for non-committee board members or non-board committee members and for the procurement policy. I would like to move that motion if I could have a seconder.
There's a code of conduct. Can see a second, I got a question.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll second, I got a question. Does that mean we've accepted the code of conduct or it's under review?
The code of conduct is under review. This particular one here is a code of conduct for non-board committee members. So, right, and it's a much simpler, just a one pager, right? Talks about confidentiality, it talks about that kind of thing.
Yeah, respect, staff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's fine.
Karen, can you remind me what the changes you made your policy last time?
Have it.
There was such a lot, we were talking about a lot of it, I remember at the end.
The main reason it came up was because there was a motion actually last year at board that allowed. I think it was up to $9,000 for the EDTs. Should it be deemed appropriate in terms of cost savings or that kind of thing.
Yeah, we added, it was more clarity for it.
We did, so we added that, but then we also added more stipulations in terms of
How you can use it.
yeah. And it goes.
So we just tightened up a little bit. Thank you. It all comes back slowly between the three of us.
Alright, so if we're still good with the first two, for moving it, we had Karen, and for the second, we had David. For the code of conduct and for policy. And for the rainbow registry, what was the?
I'm gonna bring back more information on it, just to outline why we think it's a good idea in governance.
And all in favor?
All in favor? Any votes? Any updates? Oh, for the window art installation project.
Oh, sorry, there's two questions just on the chat, sorry.
Let's go with, I'll go over Stephen first. See, you hear me?
Oh,
I can
yeah,
hear
I've
you.
got it, okay. I just wondered, through the chair, what additional information is being requested for the, Rainbow Registry? What specific information would we like to know?
So I would personally know the additional benefits of the program. But if anybody else has any other, thing to see.
Well, I mean, the only reason why I brought it to the table is I read the documentation, but I understood that there's already bills. And that already back that up, so I wasn't sure as to why we would put forward money to also back that up.
That's for the committee to go back to this side.
Yeah, we'll just bring back a little one pager that'll let you know, understand what the benefits are, especially from a 2S LGBTQ point of view. Which is not often, which is exactly who this targets.
Jen, did you have your hand up as well?
It was with respect to the windows. That's it's all good.
Rachel, could you explain the
Sure.
program?
Yeah, so the window art installation project is a partnership with the city of St. Catharines. They are looking to put in $25,000. It will basically beautify and utilize buildings in our downtown core specifically, which is why I am hoping we can put money in the downtown core. And also it's being included in it and have a say in it. So they have done a fair bit of work already. We have been at the table the whole way through, which I'm very grateful for. So they allowed me to be part of the procurement in terms of reviewing the art submissions, and they had almost 600 art submissions, which is fantastic. So really excited, really hoping that we can get some properties included and involved and beautify it.
And the biggest problem with the program is like buy-in from this one, like the others.
But the kid install, unless it's 15 degrees. It's windows primarily in the summer. Well, I assume a lot of this includes pictures or historical pictures or graphics in the windows of these vacant buildings.
Mostly art, they had
vacant buildings.
preferably, but to be honest with you, I feel like we're at the stage where if there's a building that's not fully utilized or has windows that aren't looking inside, we could use those too. But yeah, so they had a number of priorities in terms of BIPOC art, either artists or art that depicts or celebrates and recognizes it. And then local artists is another kind of priority. So yeah, like I said, there were some really good submissions, lots of hard choices. There was a bit of a conversation around, the abstract art and what maybe a downtown BIA person, what our members or customers would appreciate. And so I maybe suggested not much of the abstract art, but I thought some of that, or some of the more darker kind of images. So we went, I feel, with some of the more positive, more inclusive ones.
See some examples of what we're talking about.
We don't have them yet. I don't have them from the city. Yeah, there's in it, absolutely. I'll do them.
And I think if I could add too, I think the men, what the request is too, is if you know any business owners that have these empty windows that are really, quite frankly, a blight on the downtown core. You're driving past and you see these just derelict windows. Here's an opportunity where we can actually use that and showcase something and really uplift the downtown.
And it's, there's no cost to going.
No,
It's just, these look for things in your windows.
yeah,
Understand there are a number of vacant properties that members of your board have been asked to speak to. So there is something active on the bill.
And this is something we've been trying to brainstorm a solution to since all of us started our term. So this is a great opportunity.
It's a very successful program in Ottawa, Kingston.
Hamilton.
Yeah, it's hugely successful and has made a definite impression.
Will we advertise that we have that, just so people do come down to look at the artwork, or is it just like a walk through, if you see it, then they're like, oh, this is great art. Or we known as a community that has that art, so you have artists coming to look at it.
It depends probably on the number of installations per month, because it's one, probably we weren't marketing as much.
Right.
But the hope is definitely to tie it into other initiatives, so for example, Rain, the Rock and Art Institute of Niagara, they were part of the deliberation too, along with NAC, so I do feel that it can be part of the bigger market.
So I guess the question is, we're buying it, so $5,000 to be allocated to, supporting the window art installation project in partnership with the city of St. Catherine. Move. Can I get a second? Any opposed?
I just have a question.
There's a question, well, sure.
Oh, no,
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, just a question?
Yeah.
My question is, would it be $5,000 even if it is just one art piece?
I
Is it
think it
just
would be
us just kind of
scalable.
buying into it, that's the 5,000?
If the art isn't used, I don't think it would be, like, if it was one image and one art, yeah, then I don't think the cost would be that.
I feel like that's the cap, like if we.
Okay, so like however many artists you have, you pay into that.
up to and at the discretion of.
Yeah, like
So-
the ideal, sorry.
And we went for max of 10 artists and max of 5 max.
Answer questions.
No, I'm not, so I'm good.
I just wanna know more about what type of work we're talking about here, that's all I wanna see, it, so that's why I can't support it. $5,000's a lot of money. And then also building over someone might talk to, they don't wanna do it.
They would get, it would be their choice.
I've already asked, I've been asked to ask somebody, and they said no.
Right.
And it's no,
Yeah.
that's no.
They wouldn't have to do it.
Next hand I got for Jen.
Thanks, Josh. If the budget was to be extended, it might actually be able to, with Rain's existing collection that's part of the public record now, some of them would cost no dollars to display on a vinyl or something like that. I'm not sure if you're working with the NAC or Rain, but they have a great collection that's potentially free.
If we decide, yes, we would love our windows to be part of that, is the owner of the building able to determine what art pieces put in there, so it like represents them well? Or is that just like, whatever, if they say, yes, I'll be part of it, whatever you guys decide, or whatever they decide to put in the window?
So the way the city is handling it is they will give the choice, so here's 10 that be chosen by the committee, which is your choice.
So if I can just add to, I think it's important to recognize that we had a committee select this, that this is a 10 that the committee thought was best for the downtown core, and that includes our executive director, who I'm hoping that we have some faith in. And in addition to recognize that the city is also putting $25,000 into this. Our contribution, and it is directly benefiting the downtown core by hopefully making these empty, horrible empty windows less of an eyesore. I know when I drive down to Geneva on my way home and I look at the tuxedo place.
Yeah.
And the snowboarding place, that I have not seen anything in those windows for.
And so would it be large artwork, so we would see it when you drive
Yeah.
by?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
May I suggest that we leave it at 5,000? Can always
Yeah.
come back to the committee, to the board for more. Let's see where the 5,000 goes. And knowing that,
Nobody's asking, that's it, that's our maximum.
okay. Up to, okay, that's.
I'd say too, that this is something that we've considered taking on ourselves as a project, so for this to be something that we don't have to. Do on our lonesome, we've all, I think, in the past years spoken about why this would be a good initiative. So I think this is a really, really great opportunity.
Rachel, question. Okay, have you given indications of how about it yet?
Currently they're in communication with A King, they get it there, it's been making for quite a while. And then there's also the city property on Ontario Street, it's also being either underutilized or just not nice windows, and Ontario Street would be a really good one for it to be in. So they're looking at that location as well, and, a few others.
Yeah, at the surface, it sounds a great idea. $5 grand is a lot of money, it's a lot of windows. Uh, you do a window for $250 and choose exactly what you want. I signed up for one and, we are in construction mode for the next 4 months for a property. And, the city, they can't install and, unless it's 15 degrees Celsius. Other vinyl companies install vinyl all year round, so it just feels that $25 grand from the city, $5 grand from us. Seems like a lot of money for, we've had no one sign up, a lot of board members have talked to a lot of different property owners, and then property did step up to sign up, and they are able to install until spring. So, yeah, that's my review.
It would only just be a short period of time that they would do that artwork first, or no, it's just the installation part of it, I see.
How long will the project be going for, yeah? Is it ongoing?
This was a pilot, I believe, so, there's nothing else being talked about with regards to doing it again or so forth. I think it was just, let's see how it goes. In an effort to help revitalize downtown and the property, but obviously depends on how it goes.
It's also part of a much larger culture plan, the city's culture plan. If everyone reads the culture plan, takes a look at it. Part of what we are trying to do as a city is work with business owners, work with developers to not just leave their windows blank or leave the hoarding around a property empty. Ontario Street is the example. That's a budget of $50,000. And that's a community organization, Willow Arts, who is putting it and working with it. The amount of positive feedback that we've received, Willow Arts has received more than you. I just connected people together, but you know, we worked with the property owners of the the old GM property. We presented a proposal. It has made a huge difference. It is part of the culture plan. If the downtown association want to participate, that's your prerogative. But the city is working on doing this across the entire city. Yes, it is a pilot project, and the original pilot project was focused on the downtown. Because we felt that that was a good use of the money, the city was a good use of the money. I know I've spoken with Jessica, our culture supervisor, multiple times about these projects. There are limitations, yes, but once they're up, they're up. The mural around Ontario Street has, like I said, we aren't done yet, but it has had a huge impact on the community. We have people walking by constantly, sending messages, you know, this is amazing, this looks great. So it is part of a much larger project. I would be blunt about it and say if the DTA is not really interested in participating, and I understand all the reasons why. There are other, you know, the city can look at redirecting it to other locations that if there's concerns around it.
I think for me, it's just a matter of figuring out what that are we're talking about. And just seeing if it works closely with the powers of being in a downtown core. I know some people, they don't want it, it's their dog already out.
Yeah, that's fine.
One or two people with a big massive storefront windows, because I was asked through Rachel to ask through Joe. And the person said, I'm sorry, no, I could explain.
Did they say why?
It's like, yeah, for any night, one per day.
The art is like part of the process, and this is what we went through with the mural around GM, which I believe has been quite successful. I don't think Willow Arts would say it's successful, is we worked with the property owner. The property owner fortunately and very kindly gave us carte blanche. We told him what we wanted to do. Willow Arts put together a proposal. They gave us, but understandably, there are businesses who are not gonna wanna participate. But I think for the project to be successful and for us as a city and our culture plan to test it out as a pilot project, we need an area to focus on. And if the downtown isn't the right area, the downtown's not the right area.
Well, I think
So-
there is reasonable reason to consider the downtown because of the up and coming projects and different things that we've got going on.
Yeah.
And also the independence of the different individuals in the downtown core, where you're not governed by a plaza or any of that stuff, right?
For sure, but, and that's why this proposal is here, that's why I'm
I
like,
think I understand.
yeah.
Alright, Amy?
So just like being the GM artwork versus downtown would be different. I mean, they can't build on that property, I'm assuming, right? Because it's like a contaminated area. So
So the
having
plan is to
artwork
have it, that artwork is there for 5 years.
for 5 years, right?
That's-
That's my question is having it downtown. Like I love art and I think it's.
developed in 3 years.
Then we move it somewhere else.
Oh.
It's based on the development. The investment was made based on, we think before anything due to, various environmental issues, that it will take time. The plan was, and the proposal puts them was 5 years. I don't know what the proposal is from the city. I think it's just as long as they're vacant, the artwork is there. I've spoken to the BIA on the Spark Street BIA folks, who did it really successfully. It's absolutely stunning to walk down Spark Street because you think that there are 0 vacancies.
Right.
There are quite a few vacancies on Spark Street, but they put a wide range of art. Some of it's indigenous, some of it's BIPOC, some of it is 2SLGBTQ, all the letters. Some of it is historical. It's a mix of things. And our culture supervisor, Jessica, is a superstar when it comes to understanding and jurying the art. Like none of the art is going to be offensive. None of the art is going to be, gratuitous in any way, shape, or form. So I think, like I said, if the BIA is not like, the city wants to have this pilot project, these are the pilot projects that we then can leverage additional funding in other locations. So, the city can continue on its path if the BIA is not interested or not comfortable, which is understandable completely.
For me, it's just like I said,
Yeah.
I wanna see the art, I wanna see what's going on. If you're looking at an example of a place that did an example of future commerce, past commerce. You're gonna 2 seconds, just 2 seconds. There's a new store right next to where Cully's is. Okay, they redid the whole building, Walter's whole building. So what they did was they actually laminated all the windows of past of St. Paul Street. And if you look at it, it catches your eye and you think, you kind of look at the history of what was going on in the past. From the 1800s or whatever it was, they actually fixed the windows. And I thought that was pretty cool that they did that. So it's not just an empty storefront.
Amy, do you know?
I just wanted to say, I think that art belongs downtown, 100%, and it was just an inquiry period, not that we're saying that I want to get involved. My only thing is, there are buildings that have been empty for so long, do you think this is gonna now discourage the owner to be like, well, it's beautiful, so I don't have to fill it? Or do you think that it would just bring more people, so then we would say, oh, then, I think art down here brings safety as well, because you're gonna bring numbers, it's color, so I'm for it. It's just my question is, will it discourage people to put their building in? Like we have people on our street that have been building for a very long time. And I don't think
Quickly answer Amy's concern. Property owners don't want their buildings vacant. They don't, because it's cost them tax dollars, there's loss of revenue, so let me assure you, property owners do not want it.
Okay.
My original question was, is there a time limit or a restriction on time for the property owner that we put this art on? Is it at their discretion to say yank it off, or do they have to have a certain period of time? Is there a contractual time period they have to have it?
My understanding, and Rachel, my understanding is as soon as, if the building or if the space gets rented, artwork comes down,
Or the owner says, I don't want it anymore, still vacant, but doesn't want it anymore. Is it at the discretion of the property owner? The length?
it's all up to the property owner.
Thank you.
And just to clarify too, that one of the reasons why this is being worked with is initially the city wanted to charge the property owners. So by us putting funding towards it, it means that.
And we need them downtown to look more alive.
Steven,
We
got it.
largely own that.
I think this is a relatively small, price to pay to improve to create an opportunity to improve the look of a variety of buildings downtown. So I think it's a great idea. And I certainly, the visual change of Ontario Street on the GM site from what was there blank, blank wall to the art that's there is a wonderful change. So I, I would encourage anything that we can do to improve the look of these vacant buildings. It's unfortunate these storefronts are empty, but if we can improve the visual appearance of those, it'll improve the visual appearance of the street, and I think it's a great idea.
Absolutely. All right, we got any more points before I go to the motion? All right. Motion, $5,000 to be allocated to supporting the window art installation project in partnership with the city of St. Catharines. Who had moved it originally? Here a second, can I get who's for? And
Sorry, can I just check names? So I've got
Dave.
Katie,
and David.
Karen, David, Robin, Steven, Jen. Robin?
Oh, yeah,
Any opposed?
without that.
Opposed.
So I've got Shervin and Orin.
And oh, sorry, Josh, right away.
Hold on. Thank you, so we're moving on.
Thank you so much. My apologies. It's just a little more challenging than that.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Aaron.
You call. All right, events committee update.
So there's a plethora of events for 2025, some new ones, some old ones. We have our downtown delish on right now, which has really turned into a bit more of a marketing / event collab. It's been going super successful, so we have 12 restaurants that signed up. We had a number that tried to sign up after the registration deadline, but unfortunately we just had to say sign up in August because we had to roll it and make changes to the phone printing. So from what we've heard so far, the restaurants are super happy. With everything booked out. They're busier than they've ever usually been during the week especially, so they're really happy. So that's gone really well. And then we have for February Black History Month that we are not programming, but we are helping promote and market. There's a lot of activities going on through the downtown, including variety show at the Performing Arts Center. So I'm really excited about that one. And then road closures. So the other events that we've got coming up that will include road closures are the block party on Saturday, July 26th. So this is one that we've been doing for quite a while now. And the road closure, we're actually looking to reduce a little bit on that one. It's just using Pole Street between Queen and Carlisle and James between St. Paul and King from 9 AM to 11 PM. The Great Wine Parade after party, we are looking to do after the parade, and actually looking to move to Queen Street, from 9 AM to 11 PM. Queen Street, obviously between St. Paul and King, and then our Halloween candy trail is the newer one for us to do a road closure for, and it's at the instigation of families last year, actually. So this would be the Saturday, October 25th, and it would just be for James Street between St. Paul and King from 9 to 3:30, because we found that street was the one that was a little bit more precarious. We found a lot of children passing midway through the street between parked cars, which just is not safe. One of the main reasons is because it's our most popular street almost for trick-or-treaters, in terms of people giving it out the candy to the businesses. So there's a lot of crisscrossing that parents do, which is not safe. So we're hoping at closing that within a few hours, it will help mitigate it, and also will give us a location to put more activations on.
And so what will the activations be?
Well, last year we did a whole bunch of stuff, but we were limited for space. So for example, we had, people in costume, like
They were really good.
yeah, and they usually do a crowd.
Yeah.
But when we had them kind of at the corner of St. Paul and James, it got way too busy. Like that intersection was almost just not safe.
Okay.
We also had one of our sponsors giving out candy under a booth, and there were lineups. So it,
Which was right on the corner, I know.
yeah,
that's
it's
true.
not too
Yeah.
safe, so we're hoping to move those, to James Street instead.
Yeah.
So really,
So many people, and I encourage people to do it a little bit more inside your store, because there was a lot of people that are like, oh, I didn't know your store looked like this, and then there was like so many people at once. So it was a really awesome event, my kids really enjoyed it as well,
right.
and the ladies that were doing it was
Good,
crazy.
good.
They were so good.
On the thing, road closure on James St. Paul. So you say full game?
Yeah, for the Halloween Candy Trail, right?
Oh, so, sorry, it's just, like, it's just on Jane?
It would just be James. I don't think we would be St. Paul at this stage.
Okay, so I was curious what we put.
Like
From it starts at St. Paul Street.
Oh, yeah.
To the end.
I mean, I'd love to see a lot more activation and not just a road solution, just have it stay.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's what we have.
And the foot traffic is so, like, it's there, it justifies it.
Yeah, it was a good event.
So we have. Block party,
I have to remember that then. I'm sorry, I have people to dress up too. I will do that
And-
next year.
Rachel, so we're not doing one for Holy?
No, Holy is actually moving to Morgan's in a parking lot.
Okay, so we're down, we're one less closure in Western.
We are, because the Halloween Candy Trail was never done.
We didn't do it.
Oh.
either.
We only did 3 this year,
We approved 3.
so we're,
Right, 3.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So, motion to approve the closure, hold the list above. Can I get someone moving?
Sure.
All right, David, second. So any objections to this specific closure location?
So you use the second.
Anybody?
I'll second that.
Any opposed? Company update. That looks like it's all you.
You wanna take this, Katie?
No. No. All you.
So I believe last meeting, we talked about the TPN grant. That's currently in process, so 37,500 is met with matching funds. And we have a video currently being filmed, and it's guided or aimed to attract people from the stretch of Toronto to Buffalo. The QEW doesn't pass our beautiful downtown, so we're really trying to put it in front of people to start building that awareness and bringing more day trippers. It's gonna be paired with a landing page that will be like a brochure that highlights all of the main great things to check out in downtown, then we'll lead back to the website. And it's also going to connect with social media influencers, a social media campaign, digital campaign. And there will be like a physical brochure that businesses can have, and we'll also be able to distribute to tourism locations. So it's a really exciting promotion, and it's just in production right now, so hopefully by the next board meeting, we can show you the fruits of that.
Do we know when this can launch?
Well, hopefully the first week of February, yeah. But it really depends on production, so we'll have to just see how it goes along.
Does it do like the phone pinging thing?
Oh, yeah, sorry, thanks for reminding me of that. So as part of this awesome grant, we also were able to bring in environic data through Environics, and what that is it's foot traffic of people who are visiting our downtown. We get access to it all year round. We actually don't just, I don't know if I'm to say this, but we don't just get access to downtown, but we get comparable data to all the other BIAs, so we can really look and see how we're performing, how we are standing up to different things. So we'll be able to look at all of our events and see the visitors that are coming to them, not just for events, any day range that we choose. So it's a really good opportunity to get hold of that. And something I'm kind of excited about is when I first met with Environics in 2023, they were looking at the foot traffic to downtown, and it was about 1 million people per month. But the pandemic affected that, and it brought it, when it started to like finally balance out, it was at 500,000. So essentially we lost half of our foot traffic. And when Rachel and I met with them recently, it's back up to 750,000. So it's great
Quick
news.
traffic.
Yeah.
That's
Every month.
really good news.
Yeah.
Need that.
Yes, definitely.
The upswing, because before COVID, it was starting to be like a lot. It was beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
I just have a quick question. I know on what I've noticed, and I'm not sure if this like is good with marketing, but the market in general, on market days, the traffic is a lot. It's more people like coming through and going through the stores. We're finding is who does market, and can we get more market days to help the foot traffic, being that we don't have a lot of the businesses anymore to kind of foot traffic during the day. We have a great community that wants to support the downtown that go to the market on those days, which then also want to support the stores, coffee shops, everything. So can we bring more market days into those?
Great question. The city owns the market, so it would probably be in the city direction. So I encourage you, if you want to see that, to reach out to your local councilors.
We
I
asked
just-
for them.
What are your thoughts on that, Counselor? Is it something that they would think about or?
I would hope they would think about it.
I love them.
I will openly say my frustration is sometimes that the market is under Parks and Rec and not economic development and tourism. And so sometimes that creates these weird, non-movements. I certainly have asked repeatedly for the Tuesday market to return. I know vendors have asked for the Tuesday market to
The
return.
markets are huge for this.
Is it a cost thing? Like, is it expensive to open it?
Honestly, Charmin, no, it isn't that expensive.
You got staff anyway.
We have staff, yeah, we have a market coordinator. I would encourage you all to reach out to Deanna. Rachel can get you her email. I would encourage everyone to be emailing Deanna directly and CCing Phil and Lori, Phil Christie and Lori Brunetta in the emails. But I would encourage you to do it. We have asked. And I think it's just perhaps it would be better if, and include in your suggestions, perhaps it would be better to return the market to economic development and tourism as opposed to being in Parks and Rec. I think that's, Chardon, that's really what it comes down to, is it's not in a great location, in my opinion. It doesn't, we need to have business people and economic development looking at the market and seeing the benefits.
It doesn't really make a lot of sense.
No, it doesn't. I can't explain it.
Like,
It
I didn't
happens.
want to put a booth in there because of how successful market days are. And I don't even have anything that I could really just sell at, because I mean, the people in there are different.
Yep.
They are like 100% for downtown, they are not going anywhere else, they're getting their flowers, they're getting their food, and they trickle, and they're amazing.
Absolutely. I think if you talk to Adams Flora, I mean, they have their booth there. They are driving people to their store and
Yeah.
it works out really well. I would strongly recommend doing something to encourage the city to open like I said, I've asked repeatedly, because when they canceled it a year and a half or a couple of years ago,
Could I make a?
it was always supposed to be, oh, it's gonna come back on Tuesdays. It never has.
What we're discussing.
Yeah,
I
Absolutely.
suggest, Rachel, an email blast
Mhm.
to all of our members to pursue this.
Yep.
With,
I would strongly recommend it.
with the
It's,
city.
Yeah.
Sometimes an email, something coming from individuals, so if we recommend it coming from our
it's only
association.
Thursdays and Saturdays.
And
and
not always Thursday.
So for the months of January and February, they don't do Thursdays due to apparently lack of vendor interest.
Wow.
I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case
More to like.
at all.
I
I don't think that's it at all. Like, I think it was a decision made by a group, by a lovely group of people who don't understand the economic benefits and the economic drivers of the market.
Huge for the downtown business.
Yeah, I think it should be open. I mean, I would love to see it open 7 days a week or 5 days or 6 days a
I
week,
would
like,
too.
you know,
Sundays.
I would love to see that.
The
and-
transition even from
Yep.
the people in the market that actually go to brick and mortar.
Yep,
Empanada started in the market.
Yeah.
KFT started in the market, Adams Flora started in the
Yeah.
market.
Get a feel for the.
absolutely.
I know it's spillover from people who've attended our event, so.
Yeah,
I do too.
yeah, I think I would recommend.
And it's like families that are coming down.
Couples, families.
Yeah, cause we,
One thing we all agree on.
I know, it's not, it's, yeah, it's, we've asked repeatedly and other counselors from other, like. We as a council have asked,
Yeah.
we've gotten pushback, I think it
From
needs,
who pushed it back?
Just a community, we're gonna.
we can take that offline, David. We can take that one offline. But I think it's just not, it's not in the right department. We need to have people who understand the benefit, overall benefits of it, so.
Rachel, do an e-blast to the effect that it's gonna.
Because I want you to consider the right person to reach out to.
I would start by reaching out to Phil Christie, Lori Brunetta, and Deanna, include the mayor, obviously. But I would, you know, once you're there, I think we can
Then we're gonna do is finish up the meeting, we're in this guy's office.
Yeah.
Good suggestion.
It's just right there.
Is it?
It's gonna work out, so you wanna knock on the door.
Sure.
Just knock on they have a doorbell right there, the green doors. You can ring the doorbell and walk right in and ask, why is the market not on Tuesdays? And why are you guys not doing it?
Why
Right
is
there.
why is it not expanding? Why is it retracting?
Right, the doorbell right there, green door.
Okay, you know what, I think
Lori and Phil, they should be there.
I'm gonna go. What's going on, go.
Alright, so Kat, more about. the
Yes,
cards?
sorry. So, we saw a really nice boom in our gift cards over the holiday season. I'm sorry, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I don't know if
It
you.
was over $3,000,
So thank you.
How much?
over $3,000.
So people want rooms.
Yeah, well, considering, I guess it goes for restaurants, as well, then, right? So I was gonna say, and you need to find out, yeah, that's what we said, so you guys should find out. Considering we only have a couple businesses, but then we have restaurants as well.
And we looked at a new model this year, so we piloted having the cards sold from actual businesses, and it was pretty successful. So now we're on the back end trying to come up with all the policies and procedures so that individual businesses can also sell the downtown gift card and we can help direct traffic to them as well. So maybe by the next meeting, we'll have a little bit more on that. Just some working with the members, a lot of the marketing communications is directed towards the public, but this year we're really upping our game for member communications. First of all, thanks to Rachel for securing this room. It's awesome. It makes the videos look a lot better. But we also have like landing pages for advocacy, how to get involved. There's going to be a regular email for people who are on the gift card or who are looking to get on the gift card. And there will be a regular email for marketing and event opportunities. And it will also live in the space on the website, which we already have, we just don't currently have active. Just to help businesses funnel them into opportunities where they could work with the BIA, they could benefit from all of the great things that are coming out of the work that you guys are doing. And then just we're working with a lot of students right now. They're just interning for various reasons. But one thing I kind of wanted to bring to you guys, because I thought it was a neat turn, we work with a lot of experiential classes through Brock University and through Niagara College. And we typically work under the topic of how can we connect better with students, because we have obviously two huge post-secondary schools that are bringing in a lot of people and we're hoping to retain them or show off our downtown. And one thing that keeps coming up is the students push back on perception of the issues that they see on the streets and parking. And so now we're starting to pivot and work more closely with the professors to hopefully, because we haven't secured it yet, they're kind of looking for the right spot for us, but to do more research and deep dive into the perception. And then start working in that a little bit more and coming up with some recommendations and using the students to help us find ways that we can combat that. So it's pretty exciting. That's it.
So they may not use you because of parking, did you say?
Oh, a lot of, so we're kind of like asking the students, why aren't you coming downtown, or recommendations on how we can come downtown, and the thing that keeps coming up over and over and over again, and it's not just students, I think it's something that we're all familiar with, being
Well,
a
that's just
difficult area.
very interesting
Yeah.
that you brought it up, because we've had our building above us for rent for a while, and that is everyone's situation. I would love this place, but there's nowhere to park. I don't want, where's parking, and so we've lost some huge opportunities for parking.
Definitely.
So I think that's kind of situation. And I understand all downtown places have parking, but that seems to be our.
Yeah. There's an opportunity for all of you guys to come to these presentations. Typically, we'll work with the class and then they'll present to us what they've found, and the professor works closely with them for an entire semester. Right now, I'm actually working with Niagara College for like a full first year program for international business students, and they've adopted the downtown to focus on, which is pretty exciting. But when they do their presentations, if you guys were interested in coming, we can make sure that you know when they are, and then you could ask questions or kind of see what they're saying, and we can help direct them for the next class, what they be a part of the real deep dive and how can we solve that.
I don't know, how can we solve that? Parking.
That's a
That's a hard
question.
one, because I've reached out to different people in office and just comes back, that's just the way it is.
Well, and there's different ways to approach it, like improving public transit or like
walkable, biking, that kind of stuff, like maybe we don't need more parking, we need more access to be able to get downtown and
But it's like
outside.
businesses that are community, like, so
Park.
like,
We need parking,
But, and like, that might be part of it, but it's not the only part of it, is what I'm saying.
it's 99%. Unfortunately, we're the same as Oshawa, Peterborough, Sarnia, other than Toronto, maybe Ottawa. The people in this city and similar cities expect, for better or for worse, park in front of your place, in front of that place.
Right.
That's an expectation. We want to encourage more public transit,
Yeah.
more of that,
Yeah.
but don't have that.
Cultural.
Because now that you brought this up, there's a concern I have, it'll be discussion for another day with the Civic Square. We're gonna lose over 55 parking spaces. That's a major consideration with the Civic Square that they're talking about.
55 and being like. between-
55 spaces.
Between the Market Square and on.
James Street, Market, we're gonna lose 55 parking spots permanently, or is it permanently? Permanently. Well, it's just in a planning stage.
Mhm.
But when I brought it up, the consultants, oh, we didn't think of that. 55 spaces is a lot in this general area, is a lot of parking. So it is definitely a consideration. So I agree with you encouraging more participation in public transit and bicycling and carpooling and so on.
But there might be opportunities with the new buildings going up for underground, like that could be, which could. Make up for those missing. I think that building was built up underground, which I don't believe that.
Underground just to satisfy the code of what they have to do with the building permit. Anything else? Sorry, is there-
Since we're on parking, we have, I've been told we have more parking per capita in our downtown than any other city in Canada, which is crazy. So I personally feel the biggest gap we have is in marketing our parking.
True, because we have a.
And permit parking is a huge gap in terms of attracting especially businesses or business owners to the downtown, and something that I've been advocating for with the city for quite some time and continue to do so. We are trying to do some work around on that one, same with marketing, sorry. And I know Stephen and I have kind of been reaching out to try, they're doing a parking study right now, it's currently in the internal phases. We're hoping it will go to the public phase shortly, and that's when the community can really have their voice with regards to what changes we want to see. I know there's a lot of backlash we're hearing personally with regards to HomeCap. A lot of people are not finding that user friendly.
especially the generation that shops like downtown, so like they don't even have a phone a lot.
And it's buggy, it's glitchy, like it's not a good.
I still can't pay for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I have to
And-
commit to a full hour, like I just want to throw in a quarter so I can drop a thing off.
Yeah.
That option is gone to me. I'm committed to dollars or nothing.
So I shared a lot of this feedback with the city, and they promised me it will go in the parking study, but when it goes public, that's when we can really amplify that message, and when all of us can have our say and hopefully see some improvement. So I'll keep you
I think you can do like even like drop off zone, like so if there's stuff that there's gonna be bringing children. I think as a parent, I want a drop off zone that I don't have to pay for an hour in order to drop my child off to like I'm sure there's gonna be. Reading centers, dentists, all of that sort of stuff coming to our downtown core once all of these buildings come up, so we are gonna have to think of some kind of a.
According to the park garage on Ontario, sure, it's strictly on.
We are, I'm working on getting into
But come on,
the city or.
that's not the way to do it.
No.
But it's unbelievable.
I have a lot of like even to like customers that are older, are just taking the ticket, cause it's just too, it's too
Yeah.
frustrating.
Well, and the amount of time that
We're
I've pushed
patient.
parking and gotten a ticket and then had to spend time out of my day to come here to fight the error and yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, so
You're
to
right.
see the thing
Yeah.
about the
Right.
generation that gives up, guess where they go? They go to the mall.
Yep.
And that's the generation that is used to supporting our downtown
It
core.
was like the mall, yeah.
Rachel, you have anything else for financials? Because I mean, we're just the audits in the process.
The audit process right now, so we won't see financials for a little while until they.
Serious hasn't met yet?
No, we will be meeting next month,
And then when you get back to city advocacy, so the second floor, original survey. Or just September 2nd.
yeah, so just if anybody is able to fill out that residential survey, there's a chance for $100 for any participant. It's just a way for us to collect data on what is the usage of our buildings downtown. If you're not a property owner and you're a tenant, you can still absolutely fill that out. Like I said, we're just trying to get better data. Right now, we can see what's kind of there on the ground floor, but but we don't know what goes on in the rest of the building. We really want to support our businesses. Sometimes it's business up on the second floor. Sometimes it's a vacant residential, and we want to see that filled too, so we get more people downtown supporting the businesses.
But it's challenging because of the situation that they're on downtown core.
Absolutely, and that's,
You're
yeah, that's what
asking.
we're collecting, yeah.
Where you're located, I'll see the
I mean. There's been some unsafe conditions in malls too recently, so. Saying,
you don't see people going back.
the armed robbery.
Anything else, for residential program? And the recycling concerns?
So I feel like I've talked about this at length, but maybe I haven't, so, and sorry, just to jump back before we go to recycling, so I did do a submission for the provincial budget. And also did a delegation in front of 10 MPs, just sharing that we need support in our downtown, sharing some of the struggles we're experiencing, so there were a lot of questions and feedback on that, which I was very grateful for. And then the letter regarding recycling concerns, this is gonna be coming into effect in January 2026. As people may know, the province is switching over so that the producers of the recycling need to do the picking up of the recycling, so to speak. The challenge is that the proposal that they put forward will exclude commercial areas. So that will mean, if that goes through, our commercial recycling will not be picked up by them. So then either the municipality or the region will have to fork the bill, or the businesses will have to fork the bill. Or it just goes in landfill. So that's currently what we're advocating for, is to allow the producers to pick up commercial waste as well. So, and forgive me, not waste, just recycling. So we continue to advocate. We've joined with the other regional BIAs to try to, group our advocacy efforts. We've written numerous letters to the Minister of Labor, or Minister of the Environment, our local MPPs, the Premier, and okay. Following us after, sure.
Yeah, it's a major concern. There's some independent suggested that without this, it's just not St. Catharines, by the way. That without this commercial recycling, people are just gonna throw it into the garbage. And that's a big concern, so something beyond our, well, we can't look after it, we've got to be part of the solution, we have the whole solution. But something has to be done either regionally, provincially. I don't think the municipality wants to get into it. But it's a great concern for businesses.
One, like, for the public in general, we don't want that to be happening. It's not good for us, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, at the front side, I mean, everybody wants to recycle, everyone wants to be good to the earth, like Mother Earth, and but the reality is that most of the countries that used to buy recyclable garbage, they don't buy anymore, so we really have nowhere to put it. And we have these big expensive recycling programs that, in the last 3 years, we were at the dump, we see them, they just take things and back them right up into the dump.
Yeah.
So the fact that my poor mother washes every recycling, takes all the labels off and does her due diligence, maybe she even makes sure her neighbors are recycling correctly. She'll come to construction sites and start recycling, but we just watch it get dumped in the dump. So there's a bigger issue at hand, I think, and this is the government kind of looking at it and going, we're spending a lot of money and it's not really effective, so. We either have to change, it's a bigger change in stores, more so the European approach. I think they're asking the people who make the garbage to put a tax, so every bottle of water will have 50 cents, kind of like beer store deposits. But yeah, it's a bigger issue than just wanting to do it.
You have it?
Yeah, I don't have too much to be covered for, but the one I will share is I did meet with the Director of Infrastructure and Municipal Works, 2 different directors at the city, so we chatted a lot about infrastructure, specifically downtown, parking, snow removal, a whole bunch of other concerns and challenges, so. Well, I'm pleased that they're coming to the table for those meetings and being very open to working together on helping improve the downtown. and updated on where things go with that.
Do we have any documentation or any kind of format for building owners to let somebody know how much property damage is taking place on the properties? Are we collecting data on that?
We haven't, I mean, people, whenever people share with me in the past, for example, if there's an incident of crime or that kind of thing, I've got a tracking sheet,
Yeah,
but often people don't share that.
because that's important, because I'm hearing different people, when something's happened, it costs X amount of dollars, it costs X amount of dollars, it costs X amount of dollars. And I think that it's important that is documented so that you have hard facts, so when you do have this conversation with higher ups, then this is what's spent on property damage for 6 months.
So we did collect some of that data at the end of last year with our safety survey, and we had, I want to say over 60 people participate in the survey. And it was shocking, it was over $400,000 that was spent just last year alone in terms of property damage. And those numbers were used and shared publicly when I delegated at the region, when I delegated at city council, so we definitely, there is value, you're completely right, collecting data.
Is this through vandalism?
Yeah.
Well, you're encouraged to make an incident report with the police.
I know that,
But we don't get that.
They don't.
you don't get that.
We don't get the information.
It's just private, right? Unless you make.
That's the
right?
private thing, so what's
No,
happening?
no, no, the NRP releases the downtown, how many reports were made?
Yeah, but they don't put dollar figures,
No.
and that's what I wanna know, is there a record of individuals that can email in, call in, whatever the heck they wanna do, but that's all I'm hearing lately is cost X amount of dollars for this. It's most, but Mark Avenesian, his air conditioning system. Okay, and this guy up the street of conservative music. Palmer, okay, it's just, there's various people saying X amount of dollars are being, you know, the malls downtown, and we'll just keep them content on that, because then what we can say is to certain bodies that are policing or city hall or whoever to say, this is what's happening. I mean, I think it's important for people to document this kind of stuff. There's a dollar figure, there's an amount, like you said, $400,000, but that's just from the people that actually called it in.
Yeah, and that's the challenge, that's the difference, right, is we don't have access to everything, we have access to what people are willing to give us.
But if people know that there is a place, that's important.
Absolutely.
So I think that that's something that we should be collecting data on
Mhm.
to make sure that, you know, there may be out deterrents or certain things that we can have to resolve those issues.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's starting to get expensive for some people, and it's over and over and over and over. again. Motion to accept reports as presented. I do have one thing for Harry's report.
Mhm.
For Adrian.
Oh, I thought you said you had one.
You said one thing is report.
One of the board members has asked for it to be a standing item on the agenda, so that's why it's there, but I don't have any updates. The report isn't expected to come out until end of February in March. So I don't actually,
What kind of report is that gonna be?
that's the consultant's report.
That's the one you, remember you emailed in your survey?
Yeah, I tried multiple times. All right,
Well, that was the city's fault.
motion to adjourn. All right. All right.